Hello there. The new British Prime Minister Sunak is in office, and the country's financial and economic policy problems are by no means solved. But the government has gained at least some time. Actually, the old and new Chancellor of the Exchequer, Jeremy Hunt, wanted to present the financial planning of the British government on Halloween. But the markets have just calmed down a bit, given the government time to publish the plans later, probably on November 17th. The reason given was that the current forecast for economic development would then also be available, so the basis for the announcement would be more solid. After Hunt announced the postponement last week, 30-year UK government bond yields rose slightly, but then fell back slightly again. At the end of last week, the interest rate was about 3.5%, so the government has gained some breathing time. It is understandable that the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has delayed the release date. He wants to look very closely at all possibilities, said Mohammed El Arian, Chief Advisor to the Alliance and President of Queen's College Cambridge, to the BBC. Cambridge, not Cambridge. The initial reaction from the financial market shows that the new government has regained much of the lost confidence. But the challenges for the new government are huge. There is a hole in the financial planning of 50 billion British pounds. The finance minister and the new prime minister must now negotiate where the money is to come from. I will put fiscal stability and trust at the center of my agenda, said Sunak in his first speech as the new prime minister, emphasizing that means tough decisions will have to be made. Significantly reducing the increase in pensions is also being discussed there, by the way. And the risk on the financial markets are far from over. El Arian warns that on November 3rd, the British Central Bank will decide on the key interest rate without knowing the detailed plans of the government. And Central Bank Chief Andrew Bailey said that under these circumstances, the bank is flying blind because there is no information about the government's fiscal policy. And according to El Arian, this could lead to central bankers raising interest rates much more than they would in other circumstances. He predicts an increase of between 0.75 and 1 percentage point. And the logic behind this is intended to contain inflation for sure, as well as the risk that there will be severe turbulence on the financial markets once again. And there's another reason why the current course is not without risk for Prime Minister Sunak's government. Globally, the political situation is very uncertain. The influence on market movements is large, which could weigh on the bond market again until mid-November and until they have a hopefully solid financial plan. But Sunak is likely to be mainly in a quandary, having to announce savings while at the same time boosting economic growth. Both goals are largely mutually exclusive. The new government has also promised to leverage the benefits of Brexit. The aim is to reduce bureaucracy for companies. In addition, this government will also try to conclude further trade agreements, they say. But the announcements are not much more concrete, and from my point of view, a lot of hot air. Inflation in Great Britain was recently at its highest level in 40 years, and the Londoners get to feel that too. For more and more people, even the roof over their heads is becoming too expensive. According to official figures, the number of homeless people in London has risen by almost a quarter due to the rising cost of living. Between April and September, 5,712 people lived on the streets in the British capital, according to an analysis by local authorities, and that is 24% more than in the same period last year. It is expected that the number of unreported cases is significantly higher. The stats are just a selection of a larger analysis due to be released last Monday. I haven't seen it yet though. London Mayor Sadiq Khan called on the government to take immediate action to tackle rising bills and housing costs. Among other things, he called for a freeze on rents and a ban on short-term evictions. Although a freeze on rents doesn't help that much, I know that from personal experience. Since 2016, 13,500 people have been helped to get out of homelessness, 8 out of 10 people permanently. But the extraordinary financial pressure is putting the poorest in London at risk, Khan said. The government must improve the circumstances so that thousands do not have to spend the winter on the streets. And just to mention that once, my English is not native speaking English, but I do recognize if people play being people from Britain and have so crap English that you know they are Russian trolls or some troll farms under the videos. But it's still fun. And I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.